Serious, what was the moment with your ex-significant other that made you think, I can't do this for the rest of my life? She always thought I was cheating on her and started to take it out on me. I came home one time to find all of my clothes in a pile on the floor, covered in bleach and wine, computer cords cut, and all of my paintings spray painted on. She had taken out her paranoia on me before, but that was probably the moment that broke me. Computer cords cut, well, at least she's a ducking blockhead and cut the least expensive parts. Mine also always thought I was cheating. One day I cleaned the house and dusted the furniture and the dressers, etc. I wanted to spray and clean the dresser top, so I moved the photo frames and other decor from the dresser top into a drawer while I dusted or cleaned. She came home and found it like this and said she was sure I hid the photos of us so I could bring someone else into the bedroom for SEs. She made me feel like I did something wrong each time something like this happened and would rationally explain how she deduced these things. She wanted to do more together, things like taking salsa dance lessons. Then she started accusing me of cheating with the dance instructor because the instructor used me as a partner to demonstrate a move. I find that the people who accuse you of cheating are almost always cheating themselves. They mistakenly believe everyone sees the world the way they do. There is no place in a relationship for jealousy. It has ruined so many relationships. My father was extremely jealous of my mother. My brother was jealous of his wife. My sister's the same way. I was never jealous because I figured if my significant other wanted someone else, then they certainly didn't want me. There's the ducking door. I had a relationship where I was accused of cheating on daily basis towards the end. Even a stranger just smiling at you and you know you're in trouble for it. It was misery. When my 2-year-old got in between us to try and protect me, I didn't think much of myself back then, but I couldn't let my little guy grow up like that. Ouch. This one hit me. I hope you and your son are doing well. We are doing great, been safe for a couple years. Life is peaceful and happy. The wife of a friend of mine asked him to get something out of her car. She then locked him in the garage and called the police claiming he had attacked her. He winds up in jail overnight, having done nothing that she claimed he did. When he returned home, he found that she'd meticulously dismantled his notebook computer, carefully cutting each cord and cable, snapping every rigid component, opening the hard drive, and snapping each individual disk platter in two, placing the display panel into a baggie and methodically shattering every square inch with a hammer. She was mad because he was working too much. He kept all the broken parts in a cardboard box in his trunk as a reminder to carefully evaluate every future relationship. Did they have any prior arguments, or did it just happen? Yes, but nothing like this. He was working too much running his own consulting business and the complaints were not new. I wish I had to complain about my boyfriend working too much. I try to motivate him daily to get his crap done and he just doesn't. And then he blames me for 1,000,001 reasons as to why he couldn't do his job. The moment I discovered that my wife of 10 years was secretly working as an escort and had been bringing clients into our home. That's horrifying. I feel violated just thinking about it. Dang, how long had she been doing that? Never got any clear answers. Didn't really matter to me at the time. I just wanted out. She was holding on to my infant son. He wasn't even 6 months old. She looked at him and said with an almost otherworldly hiss in her voice, "You know your daddy doesn't love you." It took me another 1.5 years to get up the courage to leave. As a father and a husband, hearing my wife say that would break my heart. I'm sorry it happened to you. Was the kid biologically related to her too? Yup. Feels bad, man. I came home from working 2 jobs, 12+ hour days, played with her kid, put him to bed, and started to go to bed myself. Was told I'm a waste because I never do anything around the house. She was unemployed. Also, hearing the late night conversations she was having with another guy when she thought I was asleep. Yeah, that's first ballot Hall of Fame right there, mate. When the couples counselor we had been seeing asked me if I had a safe exit or escape plan for me and the kids, it was like a light bulb moment. I'm not crazy. This outside person could see it too. I signed a lease on an apartment a few days later and moved out the next weekend. It is absolutely insane how good some people are at making others believe that they're imagining abusive situations. I'm glad somebody validated what you were seeing. I've told this story on Reddit before, but I had an ex who absolutely refused to ever admit she was wrong. Not just important stuff, not just the things that actually matter, but literally anything and everything. We'd been together for about a year and we were watching Hot Fuzz on TV. It got to the Point Break scene. She said she'd never seen it because she didn't like Kurt Russell. I told her Kurt Russell wasn't in Point Break. She insisted he was. At this point I'd been pretty much conditioned to let it go. It wasn't worth the time and energy arguing over irrelevant bullcrap, so I just shrugged and said whatever. Oh no, that would not stand. It wasn't enough, I'll let it go. I hadn't specifically stated she was right. She insisted on rewinding the movie, pausing it and saying see, Kurt Russell, on a nice close-up of Patrick Swayze's face. Babe, that's Patrick Swayze, I said. Nope. It was definitely Kurt Russell. I'd say we argued for about 10 minutes, but we didn't. She did. I just wanted to watch the movie. The part that finally tipped me over the edge was when she said, God, why can you never admit that you're wrong? Yeah, it was like being called racist by. I grabbed my laptop, googled Point Break cast, put it in front of her, and was like there. It's ducking Patrick Swayze. At that point she told me it was impossible to have an adult conversation with me and told me she was going to bed. It was about 6 to 7 p.m. That wasn't the final moment, but it was the moment everything started to crystallize. I realized just how much time I spent biting my tongue or letting her have her own way just because it wasn't worth the time and effort arguing. A few days later, one of my friends was visiting from Portugal, and she started an argument with her by insisting that Portugal was part of Spain, so my friend was Spanish, not Portuguese. She was literally telling someone that they didn't know their own nationality or the geography of the country they grew up in. When my friend corrected her, she threw a hissy fit and told me that my friend should leave. I told her she was the one who was leaving, and she wasn't coming back. With all of the information we have at our fingertips nowadays, how could a person argue over things like that? It's so easy to prove them wrong in like 4 seconds. That is insane. I can't even fathom the mental gymnastics the Portugal story would take. She was manipulative to no end. She was very much of the mentality that girls cannot be casual friends with guys, as it made her jealous for me to even hang out with my best friend, who happened to be a girl. Never mind that 75% of her friends were guys, though. She manipulated me into cutting ties with my best friend and distancing myself from a few others. To this day some of those friendships are still not the same. Not to mention forcing her interests onto me, forcing me to wear clothing I don't really care for, and getting me to drink a lot when I really don't like drinking. One-sided cut ties though, I found that I had the most loving and supportive friends a guy could ever hope for. I love them so much more than I ever really loved her, and I would do anything for them. This is why I left my last significant other. She hated the fact that I have a lot of good friends and 3 of them are women. Like sorry, but I'm going to go out with my good friend Samantha on Sunday to watch football at the bar while you're out with your friends doing a wine and painting thing that I wasn't invited to. It was either when he got mad at me for buying a door for our house because the old one was letting snow in while he was spending thousands a month on gambling and pee in Starbucks, or it was when he joined Ashley Madison on my birthday. I can't decide. Ashley Madison is definitely worse. At least you got to walk out a really nice door. It was a nice door. It had 3 locks on it. 3. I miss that door. 3 locks? No snow is getting in through that. Take that, Mother Nature. I got an admissions letter from a law school. Instead of celebrating he started picking a fight about vehicle maintenance. We broke up that evening. Ooh, I know that guy. Didn't date him, thank duck, but if someone has something to celebrate, you can be sure that he will have a footash or important phone call in the middle or a joke that needs laughing at or some other thing that detracts from the success and lives of others. I'm glad that you are out of that situation and congrats on law school. Thank you. It was 6 years ago and still the best breakup of my life. She broke up with me for the 8th time and 4 days later was begging for me to come back. Finally had the guts to say no and walk away. Man, similar thing here. I said I wasn't coming back after the third time in the same month. Her mistake was letting me stew for a week, during which I realized how much happier I was without her. We'd been dating for just over a month. There were plenty of red flags before this point. She said she loved me the first day, of course, but while sitting on the phone listening to her berate me and list off everything I was doing wrong for 45 minutes, I finally said, you know what, you're right. I guess we shouldn't be together anymore. Okay, bye. 5 minutes later she called back and left me a voicemail saying that wasn't what she meant at all. Yeah, too bad. I was kind of a low self-esteem pushover before that relationship, but that broke me of a lot of that in a very short period of time. I'd say you handled that extremely well. Good move. Fair play to you, dude. Lol, bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.